I am specifically talking about setting an intention for the new year, but depending on when this episode finds you, you can use this principle for absolutely anything. Setting an intention for your day, for your week, for your month, for your quarter year, for your moon cycle, for literally anything. And I want to share a little bit with you about why it's so important. And we're going to be talking about intention specifically in the context of setting a word for your year. Welcome to the Full-Time Life podcast. I'm Steph. Full-time life stands for the notion that the concept of work-life balance is flawed. There's no such thing as work separate and apart from life. It's all just life, and it's up to each of us to find our own full-time life balance. I am joining you from a new setup, new digs, almost a new year. And this is the perfect time to start to talk about all things new again. We are almost at the beginning of a new year, and I have so much to say, but I'm going to start with this episode talking about the importance of setting an intention. I am specifically talking about setting an intention for the new year, but depending on when this episode finds you, you can use this principle for absolutely anything. Setting an intention for your day, for your week, for your month, for your quarter year, for your moon cycle, for literally anything. And I want to share a little bit with you about why it's so important. And we're going to be talking about intention specifically in the context of setting a word for your year. So just to kind of give you a little foreshadowing of where we're going here. And I have a workshop for setting your intention, for setting your word of the year that will take you through a whole process, but you may not need that. You may already have a word at the ready, and I want to give you evidence of why it's so important to set your course to an intention that boils down to a word that is the way that you want to feel. That's the whole framing for it. Okay, but before we get into that, let's just talk about vibration. Everything is vibration. Everything in life is going to give us a vibration on a spectrum of high vibration. It's going to resonate in our cells and in our bones at a really high frequency, and it's going to make us feel really good. Or further down on the low end of the vibration spectrum, it's not going to feel very great. It's going to be a low thoughts, low energy, low everything. And everything around us is vibration. Food is vibration, music is vibration, words are vibration. The easiest way to think about how you may have felt this is when you think of music, and especially like a live concert that you've been to. The music resonates, it travels through the air to you, and it makes you feel something inside. You've probably had an experience that you felt the vibration of music, if nothing else. So I'm going to apply that to what it looks like when we're talking about words having vibration. Dr. Emoto wrote this book, The Hidden Messages in Water. It is a book that I discovered that was brought to light for me during my yoga teacher training, and it was so fascinating that I have to share it with you. So Dr. Emoto, using high-speed photography, captured crystals in frozen water at different vibrations. And the tangible evidence you can see with your eyes in these photos he took is absolutely trippy. I definitely recommend the book, but I'll break down everything you need to know. He suspected that water crystallized under a microscope would respond differently with different variables. And so he played music, he did lots of different variables, but one of the variables he tested and that he documented was words. The test was conducted at an elementary school where children spoke to the water and different little petri dishes. They spoke to the water. They told the water it's cute over and over. They told the water you fool over and over again. The children said different things to different bottles of water. When the children said you're cute to the water, cute crystals formed, but you fool had the opposite effect. And if you're on video, I'm going to attempt to show this to you. Something you can just look up, Dr. Emoto, The Hidden Messages in Water. But if you can see this, it's really powerful how the water responded to this high vibration of the word of cute and the low vibration of fool. And taking it one step further, he also tested how many times, the repetition of the words. And so when the children said you're beautiful just a few times versus when they said you're beautiful several times versus when the water was ignored altogether. And again, I said this before, it's totally trippy. Seeing is believing in these photos. When the water was told you're beautiful several times, it resulted in crystals more well-formed than when the water was just told this a few times. And the crystals formed by the ignored water was the least complete, the most chaotic, the less structured. And I'll just share this a little bit on screen if you're watching this, but you get the picture. Not only can I sit here and tell you that words have vibration and that vibration can be high or it can be low, it's physically proven through photographs of water. And let me just tell you the best part of all of this. Why does this matter for us? What do words mean to water mean to us? The human body is made up of nearly 70% water, especially our hearts and our brain made up of water. And so this idea that words have a vibration in water, it's captured, that we are mostly water. The water in us is responding to the words around us. Words matter. If you don't take away anything from this podcast other than that, your words matter. And the self-speak that we have on repeat, on replay in our brain is so powerful. It is so powerful to our insides. And in this like space of positive self-speak, you're rewriting your neural pathways. When you're saying, I am cute or I am full, you are training your neural pathways to absolutely believe that, whether it's true or not. On top of that, the words themselves have a vibration. And that is why the words we speak are so important, why it's so important for me to set an intention every single year in the form of a word of the year. So that is my trippy evidence about how powerful words are. And I want to share a little story about when I first started doing my word of the year. The year was 2015. I was going through a tough spot at work. I was rolling off of a really big project. I was losing my sense of like belonging in the container that was my work at the time. I felt like change was in the air. I felt very dissatisfied in this kind of like shift. It wasn't just like the change was uncomfortable. It was that the change didn't feel like me. And so I took myself on a stay treat, on a mini retreat, and I went through the book, The Desire Map by Danielle, Porte, really great book. And over the course of 3 days, I would hang out at juice shops. I lived in New York City at the time. I would hang out in juice shops and yoga studios and just go through this process of the Desire Map. And the Desire Map is all about tapping into the way that you want to feel. And at the end of this, the result of this was coming up with a series of words. I still have the book. I've actually gone through it a few times in the past. But you basically key into how you want to feel. And I came up with words for how I wanted to feel. And you do a lot of like brainstorming, but I came up with words like valued, appreciated, valuable, impactful, influencing, free, engaged, thriving, flourishing, productive, pursuing, empowered. All of those were like some of my brainstorm. And I walked away with 4 key words for how I wanted to feel. And at the time, it was engaged, enterprising, personal liberty, and exhilarated. And when I thought about the way that I wanted to feel, it became even more clear that the direction of the path that I was on with work was not going to meet those needs and of how I wanted to feel. And it set me on a 6-month journey of getting my resume together, identifying a position that would make me feel the way I wanted to feel, interviewing for those positions. It did not happen overnight, but over the course of 6 months, I transitioned to a career path that gave me all those things: engaged, enterprising, personal liberty, and exhilarated. And that it checked all the boxes. And it really became my guiding North Star. As I interviewed as positions, I ultimately ended up taking a position at my same firm that was more aligned. It empowered me to go and ask for that position, not only from other organizations, but from my own organization. And it put me on an entire different path. And all I thought about for 6 months was, this is how I want to feel. And that process, to this day, I've broken it down. So now I don't have to take a whole 3 or 4 day mini retreat to go through a process. I've broken it down for myself into a very simple process where I can really hone in on quickly a word for how I want to feel that is going to be my direction for an entire fill in the blank. I typically do it. I do it for a year. That word typically carries through, right? Like all the moon cycles and all the month cycles. But from time to time, I will choose a separate word based on something that I'm trying to bring to fruition. So that is a little bit about my experience. I've been doing that since 2015. This will be my 10th year of choosing a word of the year. And I have it behind me, if you're on a video, all of my words that I kind of are always like percolating. Words are really powerful. How we surround ourselves with words is just as important as how we talk to ourselves with words. That's also in the hidden messages in water. In fact, there were times when Dr. Emoto, would just wrap the words around the water bottle, and even that would change the crystals. Obviously, our voices have a vibration and a sound. Even the written word had a vibration. And so if this doesn't convince you about how powerful the words we surround ourselves with, then go get this book, The Hidden Messages of Water, and see for yourself. 1 year, my word was high vibration, literally a high frequency, high vibration, and I defined it at the time as glowing. You feel happy, energized, enthusiastic, and optimistic. You are attracting positive people and good things into your life. When an unpleasant situation arises, there is a deeper knowledge that it is for your good and you are protected. In this state, you are practically levitating. And the reason why I wanted to describe with you in a little more detail what I meant by vibration is because it was very aspirational at the time. It was a little bit of a stretch. I was not practically levitating. I was not always enthusiastic and optimistic. But over the course of this year, as the year unfolded, I constantly came back to this of what's going to put me in a high vibration state. In this idea that everything's vibration, there were so many levers I could pull with food, with the music, with the self-talk, with the people I surrounded myself with, absolutely everything. And that was my word of the year. So I wanted to share that. My words for 2024, I had the word ease and I had the word magnetic. And I want to share a little bit about in future episodes what that looked like and how I pursued both ease and magnetism throughout the year. For now, I wanted to share a little bit about the power of words, that everything is vibration, especially words. There is evidence that the vibration of words have a tremendous impact on water. We are 70% water. So it's not just that they have a vibration that travels through the air that makes its way into our brain. It's making its way into us at a subconscious cellular level through all of that water in our bodies. I'm really excited to set a new word for 2025. If you would like to join me, you can just set a word. If you need some assistance with this, listen, we live in a chaotic, distracting world. We live in a distracting time of the year where it's just one more thing that you may get around to. Go ahead and get around to it with me. I have a workshop that you can take live or on demand. At the end of 60 minutes, you will have your word, you will have some loose definition for what it is, and you will have some ideas for how to take that word into the year with you so you're constantly surrounded by it, and it can give you a direction for every decision that you need to make throughout the year. Before you set goals, before you start to dig into your habits, start with intention. It all starts with intention. Intention is the umbrella to which everything else kind of just fits under. And I'm really excited to take you through my process, to share what my word will be, future episodes. I'm so happy to be in a space and place where I can create again and I can share these concepts with you. Until next time. go live your best full-time life.